The Match Ball.
Hello there. Welcome to the show. You all right? We're streaming live on YouTube exclusively for our TSB Plus members, and you can watch the show later and listen in your podcast app. The Match Ball is brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, Michael. And while you hurriedly...
there we go. Just pressing my buttons.
Just pushing some buttons because we realised we haven't been recording the video there.
Doesn't matter. It's fine, innit?
Just as we're streaming, it's just in case. We do need a little backup. Tell me about...
I'll tell you what you need just in case the worst should happen. Lasting powers of attorney. Smooth.
The White Goth has just said, come on, Michael, I need to know the legal details about care home provision. Are they looking after you well?
Thankfully, it's all been taken care of for me.
There's a 10% discount on your legal fees on all their full range of services. You can find details and terms on the website, levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Mention lasting powers of attorney, mention wills.
I mentioned lasting powers of attorney, didn't mention wills.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to my bed bath this evening.
Right. Super duper. Dan with Michael and with Chris Mack as well for Leeds 3, Luton 0. So, right, give me a big three.
Oh.
3 goals? That would be a really easy, because we haven't thought about this, have we, before we started streaming?
Nope. Chris, move to the midweek window, please. I'm just looking at the video. We've rushed this whole thing, haven't we?
Yeah. Charged in here like a bull in a china shop.
I think
there he is, look.
That was our best performance for quite a while, actually.
Is acrobatics part of the big three?
Yes.
Yes.
From Sam Byram.
I know.
Of all people.
That was nice, wasn't it?
Really good. Yeah. And unexpected, because you're going, he doesn't generally do 2 games in a week, does he? He's been forced to do this. There he was, just warming up. That's all it took. Play him again.
Yeah, it wasn't a jeopardy-free evening. They had some chances, but I think it was reflected in the fact that their fans started singing, we've had a shot, something like that towards the end when they were celebrating what was a comprehensive win in the end.
Can I have part of the big three? Can I have 2 of the mascots who I noticed at the start were larger than Willie Nonto?
Yeah. I saw the one of the mascots walking out. I didn't realise it was with Nonto, but then I saw some people saying about Nonto's mascot. No way. Like, of all the people you could have paired him with.
Yeah. Shout out to the mascots as well. We did actually get a message from Dan, the dad of Reggie and Rio, who were 2 of the mascots tonight. So we just wanted to give a shout out to them as well.
Oh, cool. Nice one. So yeah, as Andrew's just put in the comments here on the YouTube stream, most of that second half was so dull, and after the weekend I loved it. Yeah.
I don't think it was that dull, actually. I felt like it was all right.
It was calm, not dull. Discuss.
It's the 3 games in a week again, and if that's how we're playing, I'm happy enough.
Yeah.
10 minutes in, I wrote the phrase on my notes, tidy, probing.
Oh.
And I think we continued probing all game.
Did you see that big caption that came on the big screen? I think it was at half time. It said something about penetration exploration and checking.
Penetration testing.
That was it, yeah. That felt quite sexy.
Yeah. Listen to some podcasts about penetration testing, and I'm not even joking.
Right.
People who it's security stuff. If you want any penetration testing,
are you the man? Now you're over 40.
Listen, if they want to sponsor it, I'll do a read for them.
Right.
And I'm sure it'll have absolutely no problems with it.
Good. Yeah, how do you feel about that? I'm really happy. After the chaos of the weekend, I was trying to think about this like in terms of Spotify playlists. If that was like, I don't know, thrash metal on Sunday, today was peaceful piano.
Second half was white noise.
Right.
Yeah, possibly. I felt like, other than giving them that chance where it was Strauch, wasn't it, had to clear it off the line, I got a bit cross about that because it felt completely unnecessary. We just lost a couple of balls in midfield. Then before we were thrown goal, Melier seemed to lay down. The ball was going into the net. I was like, we must have had 80% of possession by that point. And then all of a sudden, they had a good chance, and it just felt massively unfair and like bad things were happening. And I was watching the ref to just do that point at his watch, you know what to do before pointing him to the pointing back to the centre circle.
It did make me feel alive. I'll take that.
True.
I mean, start of the second half, if we're saying it was boring, we had Willie Nonto skinning 2 players and then setting Tanaka up for a long-range shot. And then he did that thing that I don't know if he meant it or not, but he just turned at one point and there was a defender looking quite stunned.
Yeah, he did that. He was like a spinny nutmeg type thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if he meant it or not, but it was good fun anyway.
It was nice.
Some talking points here to discuss that Simon brings up. Most professional performance of the season, Farke making early subs and Meslier making saves. Lovely stuff. I think, yeah, absolutely. I want to give credit to Farke and to Meslier in due course as well for being switched on when he needed to be switched on, because he didn't have a lot to do in that game. But Farke as well, because you watched that second half, right? And there was a point at which, because I had a conversation with my dad about this, about 65 minutes, I think.
Just before he left.
73 went downstairs, watched it for 10 minutes, saw the third, went then, I think. But I think it was after that chipped shot that got cleared off the line. He was sort of saying it's never that comfortable. I think it was 1-0 at that point. Was it 2? It was 2 because we were in the second half. It's never that comfortable. Why aren't we kind of putting our foot on their throat? Or we don't do that. He was just observing. I don't think he was complaining. And then you realise that we were just knocking it around at the back without them pressing us. And you're like, well, I can see why we don't. There's no point, is there?
No.
Just total control.
And I felt like we did keep generally progressing it forward as well, because sometimes at our worst, it does feel like nothing's happening. But it felt like Rothwell and Tanaka did keep it moving, I felt, through midfield. I thought Rothwell was very good actually today.
But I think they both were. I think Strauch was really good.
I know Tanaka's always good, but I thought Rothwell was brilliant today.
Strike was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I know he didn't score the second goal, but essentially without him on the pitch, we have zero threat from corners. Him on the pitch, there's a chance. So I mean, it was his header, wasn't it? That was saved. It's always his header.
That corner goal was coming though, because all of those deliveries in the first half was in that area, and it was just begging for someone to be there.
Yeah. Gilo's asking, why do you think the Ellen Road atmosphere is dead? I don't think it's dead. I think there was a point in that second half where everybody realised that the game was won, and they started saying we are the champions of Europe. But again, when I say there's no jeopardy, I don't mean it as a negative necessarily. Like, we were in such control of that game. They were standing off us or allowing us to pass it around at the back. And you think, well, why would you commit loads of men forward trying to attack when they're not even bothering to try and get the ball back? Like, you're 25 minutes to go, you're losing 2-0. Maybe we're just that superior under those circumstances that what can you do but just relax a bit?
At 2-0 as well, it feels like a very different... Well, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I feel like it's very different at 2-0 than at 1-0, because at 1-0 there's always a chance that someone slips, they score, and your complete dominance is turned into a draw. Whereas at 2-0, they're not going to get 2 goals here, are they? Realistically.
I think, do you agree, Chris, that we've relaxed into the idea of what we are this season?
We're just waiting to go up, which is not really a great way to be, because there's still 30 matches or so to play. So we should just try and enjoy it. But I think as well, it's a Wednesday night. Lots of people around me who don't usually sit in my area, so I'm going to assume some members who haven't got tickets, and maybe a slightly disjointed experience for everyone. But fun.
But I don't think the atmosphere was flat or dead or anything. People tried to make the best of it when everyone realised it had lulled. But it's just the nature of the game was so dominant that, and there's so little. There's so little coming from the opposition. You think, well, fair enough, we'll just relax. And I had a chat with a guy whose name I didn't catch, so my apologies. But just on walking down Ellen Road itself, as I was walking back down afterwards, and I was saying, we had our little thrill, we had our little fix, our junkie fix on Sunday of the chaos. Give me a routine win any day of the week, and that's what it was tonight. And if we can keep chalking up routine wins like that this season, I'll be quite happy, I think. And if that comes later in the season, you're like, it'll ramp up as we get closer to the prize, I think. But everyone's just come away from that thinking, yeah, that was nice.
I don't know about you two. I feel that I've come away from this feeling a bit different than I did the Plymouth and QPR games, which likewise were very, very standard wins. And I felt like maybe it's because we sort of were made to work for it a bit tonight. And there were more, I don't know, it felt like there were a lot of half chances in that game. And if you get the rub of the green in that, we probably win it 6-0. But as it is, fine. 3-0. 3-0 was good. It was well deserved. You'd struggle to argue it should have been less, I would say. Like just chance after chance. And some that wouldn't have even probably registered as anything on the XG as well, because I think there was one across where Solomon looked it was down your end actually, Chris. He looked quite upset with himself for not having connected with something in the first half. It was quite a nice crossing from the right, I think. And I think he was just short of getting to it. Yeah,
I think he got caught up in traffic. Right. He wasn't getting through that.
So yeah, I think it felt like there were a couple things like that went on. So it was, I don't know, I felt like we had a threat all game, whereas the Plymouth game in particular was just like feet up second half. It was everyone just relaxed more or less.
Yeah.
And like they said, Ramazani coming on gave a bit of interest as well, didn't it, for the last 5 minutes?
Yeah,
as well?
it was a little bit of something to get your teeth into because it wasn't 70 minutes for the subs. It was like Sam Byram, I think he was getting a bit of cramp, was he? Did he look like to you? Because he went down holding his leg a little bit and got subbed off immediately.
Right. I mean, he's an old broken man. He shouldn't be playing.
He's about 10 years younger than you, Michael.
I know he is.
Scored a bicycle kick. Leave him alone.
All right, fine. He's marginally more athletic than me. But he doesn't play 2 games in a few days, does he, generally speaking? So, and if we had Junior Firpo fit, he wouldn't have done. But he played very well.
Yeah, I think Verba is... I think Farke quite likes him for some reason. And he's probably quite keen to get him match fit again, to have him available.
As an option.
Yeah.
Patrick's saying, actually, the atmosphere sounded decent on the telly.
It was definitely better than it has been.
There was just a point in that second half where I think the South Stand went, right, we need to make our own fun now.
And again, like admittedly, I'm pretty much the opposite corner of the ground because I'm towards the corner of the Kop, but I didn't hear the Luton fans at all.
No, there was a moment where all the ones at the rowdy part of the cheese wedge all did the shh, and then basically waited for the Luton fans, and nothing happened. So we're like, all right, I guess we've got to come up with something then. Yeah.
And there was some, 11 minutes. There was the Gary Speed chant as well. That was nice. That was kind of become a nice tradition, I suppose, to remember him by. So that gave a little bit of something interesting for the atmosphere, I suppose, as well. Yeah,
and I think when you look at the goals in terms of how Luton's fans responded, they won down inside 10 minutes. It was one-way traffic pretty much from the off. And then I suppose if you're going at 1-0 at half-time, there's part of you thinking, well, we've got a chance. We've ridden out the first half, but we are still within striking distance. But then 2-0 puts a totally different complexion on it. And then they tried a bit, I think, at the start of the second half, but only a tiny bit. And so then it was just a case of, it was just another spell of one-way traffic. Get the third, everyone can be happy then. And Dan James, absolutely cracking run of form that he's on. And a lovely finish, I thought.
It was. Poor Matteo Joseph stood square. It's like, please, Dan.
Imagine there was a chance late on when Bogle went through as well. It could have been 4 right at the end when he shot, and he could have pulled it back for Joseph potentially.
Yeah, there were a load of chances in it. Just to go back to Verba for a second, on the atmosphere, he wasn't exactly a boo when he came on, but there was obviously massive applause for Byram going off them. He came on and there was a bit of a...
There was a murmur and a boo.
There was definitely a murmur. And then he was stood over that free kick not long afterwards. I thought he might just put this in and stick his fingers up at the Kop. fully Hazel would it?
He just needs to do what Aronson did, which is to say all the right things, get some credit in the back in the bank, and it'll be fine.
I thought he did fine as well.
It was fine. It was fine. And look at Nonto. Nonto getting applauded off today. Scored the winner the other night. Everyone's forgotten he went on strike. Pretty much. Certainly no one's
he signed a new contract, and that means he's here forever.
Certainly no one's booing him anymore. So that's the route out of this. Verba, just crack on.
Yeah, I've just opened the stats actually on FOTMob, and the momentum graph tells the story of that. It was completely one-way traffic pretty much throughout. They had 4 little spells, one right at the very start, so we can ignore that. We're not counting that.
Did they?
I mean, it's like it's the smallest little sliver. Yeah, just that they came out looking a bit lively, but without ever creating any chances.
Right.
It's a tiny little bump, but then it's just a massive wave of white. Another tiny little spell in the first half. I think that's probably orange, isn't it? Not red, but there you go. Then it's all us till just before half time when they have a tiny spell, and then we score. And then the second half is all us, little tiny spell, we score. It was really comprehensive. XG 2.5 to 0.8, 20 shots we had, 5 big chances. I mean, we've absolutely mullered them.
Yeah, and some of their chances were at 3-0 or at 2, certainly at 2-0, weren't they? So don't even count.
I think
we were letting him have them.
The one cleared off the line and the one that Melly rushed out to might have been quite high XG. So that might have made up most of it.
Yeah, 92% accurate passes, 710 accurate passes. We've just smothered the opposition there. I think that's absolutely fair and justified.
Do we need to ask who had the most passes? Or
I don't think we do we?
Do we just know?
Do we really?
He's setting an impossible standard at this point. Like, it's not quite like whenever Messi plays well and everyone's like, oh yeah, but it's Messi. But with Tanaka now, we're at the point where we're like, yeah, but we expect him to do all these things. The way he hits the ball is just amazing to watch.
The weight of his passes,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's so positioning. He just seems to be in the right place. He seems to have the right body shape every time. Like someone who's a coach could probably explain it better, but
Michael,
it's just the way he places his body whenever, like, even whenever there seems to be a little bit of jeopardy, he seems to have a way out of it.
It wasn't until Bielsa arrived that I started looking for that sort of thing. When you start to hear about how he coached his players, about exactly what shape to have your body and when you receive the ball and which direction you're going to turn. So it's the sort of thing like he opens your eyes to these things. And I've started noticing it post Bielsa, and you're absolutely right. You can see the difference between players who are good and players who are great, and it's those little things. It's the decision making, isn't it? It's those tiny little moments, I think.
No, I feel you're right. And I think Tanaka as well gets credit for the first goal because at our worst we can be a little bit ponderous and take forever getting through the lines. He just put it into the corner for Nonso, didn't he? Ahead of the first goal, and it just moved us. It just moved us up the pitch, and all of a sudden we had him under pressure because when you're knocking it around on the edge of the box, it's obviously very different to knocking it around in midfield. So he just saw that and hits it straight away. And I think he's as we're saying, he sort of, I don't know, he sees things in a way that other players don't seem to. To compare with Aronson, who is kind of a good technical footballer in terms of he can control it, he can dribble with it close to his feet and stuff. But his worst moments are where you're seeing things that he's not seeing. Whereas Tanaka is the opposite. He'll do stuff and you go, oh.
He puts balls in and you go, why have you hit that? And you go,
even from like a high vantage point, you're not seeing the stuff that he's seeing. Whereas with Aronson, sometimes you're going, just hit it now, hit it left. Oh, it's too late. It's too late. And it was, we're in the Championship. It's fine. Like it's the old sort of Tyler Roberts issue rearing its head again, where you kind of you're accepting the technical skill involved in it, but it's just a little bit frustrating to watch sometimes.
On the stats front, Lou has said that Strauch beat Tanaka in passes, 116 to the big sexy passing pirate, and 114 to Tanaka.
Okay. He was good. He was good. Was Strauch?
He got man of the match on SofaScore, 8.2.
I don't know how I give it to.
I think that's fair.
Rodon got it on FOTMob.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is that because at one point he appeared in attack and everyone went, "What's Joe Rodon doing?"
There was a point at which I think he just like, sod it, I'm just going to have a go myself here.
Yeah, he just went bombing forward. He looked quite good.
Did you notice there was a point at which I think it was in the first half, I'm going to say. But no, it wasn't. It was second half because I know exactly what happened. Peru dropped back into midfield. He dropped deep to pick the ball up. And I noticed Sam Byron was ahead of him in the number 9 position. Oh, we're doing that, are we? That's fair enough. That was exciting.
He got a stiff of it with that bicycle kick. Maybe that's why they took him off. He was getting overexcited.
Our fullbacks are very attacking. Even at the end of the game with, when we were, 2 up, we still have Verba and Bogle pushed as wingers, don't we, for the most part? So, which obviously it changes because Rothwell and Tanaka can tend to both drop, and then so we're kind of leaving ourselves far at the back still. But it's quite interesting. I feel like it is an actual change compared to last season.
And what I do like is that we're now starting to get players back because when Ramazani came on, there was just that little bit of a lift, and he started picking it up and doing things and spinning with the ball and trying tricks, and that gets people off the seats.
Ramazani and James are ludicrously good subs for the Championship.
Ramazani he is like a carbon copy of Somerville. It feels like they've just put his attributes into a little finder and gone, all right, there we go. There's the guy, he'll do.
Yeah, good to see him back.
Yeah, some little moments of quality, some little sparkles. Yeah, I've written down Meslier. I put a big circle around Mellier's name because I think he deserves to be spoken about tonight because he has his moments, didn't he? Like there was a certain amount of criticism, whether it was justified or not, about Swansea and the clawing for it. I thought that was fair enough. It happens, doesn't it? But I think he banked some credit tonight. Does Meslier some important saves?
Yeah, okay.
I like him. I don't see who we'd replace him with at this level.
No, I probably don't either, to be honest. I felt like the one that was cleared off the line, I feel like there may have been some question marks over that.
Oh, but he had to go out to it, didn't he? Because the guy was running through.
He did, but he sort of laid down a bit.
But surely that worked out exactly as it should have been. Keeper went out to try and stop the shot. The defenders went in behind him and covered him. Perfect outcome. What's your problem?
Well, the better outcome is the keeper saves it. Is what?
No, the only outcome is that it didn't go in the net.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not in the mood to criticise him. I'm sorry.
Can we talk about the number 25 for Luton?
Yeah.
Who forgot his PE kit?
Just wandered in
chucked onto the pitch from the away end or something?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Well, I didn't notice any of this. What happened?
The little fella looked like he'd come from goals and he'd forgotten his shin pads.
Right.
Might have been playing in trainers, I'm not sure.
The booked a 5-a-side pitch, but only 9 lads have turned up and said, mate, have you got any... do you want to come on and have
Yeah, what was he?
He had like a base layer on, but short socks and a mullet, and it was just all very strange.
Got a base layer on now, so let's not get too hasty.
But you're not playing right midfield.
That's
for
true.
Luton.
I just need to say, sorry. You know when you get your layering just right and you're just the right temperature somewhere, That was me tonight. I'm so pleased about it.
Oh, good.
It was
Congratulations.
quite. We have to say, just to set the scene, it was quite chilly in Ellen Road.
Mm.
Sorry, tell me about this lad who turned up from the five-a-side centre.
Joe Taylor, I'm seeing is his name. Looks like an amateur sort of rugby winger, I would say. Just a little bit too stocky. A shit sort of hair, like local hard man haircut, and no shinnies. Just the whole thing was weird and seemed to be absolutely rubbish.
He did nearly score that header from a corner, though, which would have been quite funny.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah. I think it was him anyway.
I did make a note, actually, just thinking of their rubbish players, if we're going to call people out. I did make a note saying, is this the same Victor Moses? Because I've lost track of how old he is, but he's rubbish, isn't he?
He went to Russia for a while, so I don't know, maybe they sent him to the front lines or something.
Wow.
But yeah, he was not good at all.
Well, one of the notes I made was, I can't believe that some of these players were playing in the Premier League last year. There were a couple that were in that team, weren't they? So
yeah.
Like, I think if we had come down last year and played like that at any point, 15 games into the season, there would have been mutiny.
Right.
Yeah, it's not good. I think he must be getting close to the sack. You would think. I know he's got a credit in the bank from the whole getting him up in the first place thing.
Moses is 33, says House of Stouts.
Wow. Okay. Well, he's found his level. I wouldn't want us to sign him.
Hair chat. What do you think? What do you think of Chong's hair?
Yes, it was big, wasn't it? It was big. I think I was too taken with the other fella. With the mullet. I think I was too busy looking at him.
That's the sound of Michael frantically Googling.
Joe Taylor, that's the guy.
The little scrum half.
I've forgotten his name. Yeah, that guy. The funny little rugby bloke who they'd brought on. I was too preoccupied with that.
Funny little rugby
bloke. Chong came on and immediately lost the possession as well, didn't he? Just let it bounce off his shins and it went to Bogle. Everyone went, way.
He was like a schoolyard basketballer who's running around. He's just running completely aimless circles across the pitch.
Yeah. Other stats, let me have a look. I know we don't want to get too caught up on stats, but worth diving into because they do paint a picture of what the game's like. We passed it a lot. They didn't. They kept passing it to us. Those are the stats that I noted down in my head.
Yeah, kicked it out of play a few times. Did you
notice,
keeper?
Who was it that kept giving up possession to us? Swansea. Yeah, they get the ball, try and pass it around a bit, and then lose it. Luton kept losing it as well. Is that because we're good?
It is. It's because we're good.
Wow.
We've got loads of quick players who press. Very hard to play against.
Can you imagine what Leeds midfield will be like once Ampadu returns? Ampadu and Tanaka. Teams might just not touch the ball.
You even thought about poor old Gruev there as well.
Nice.
Is he just cheerleading
He's
for
a
the
lasagna
sideline
at this point.
Right. Right, let's talk about the dickhead ref and the fact that we don't have to talk about the dickhead ref.
Pretty low key.
I don't think I've got anything to say about him.
It's good, isn't it? It's exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. Well done, dickhead ref.
Does that mean he was favouring us?
No, it just means
because you don't notice these things when they're benefiting you, do they? There's probably some furious Luton fans online saying it's a
to be fair,
conspiracy.
He did give a foul against Perro for pushing a guy over who had already fallen to the ground right at the start. So
I've just got to put this one up on screen. I'm not saying the name because it looks like Latin and I'm not pronouncing that, but it says listening to you three chat stats is like watching fish juggle.
Listen, we know about these things. We did the top bit about body shape and stuff earlier. That was good.
I thought it was really insightful. That
Tanaka is more influential than Calvin was under Bielsa at this stage.
Oh, big call.
I would say, which is kind of weird.
I was thinking that at times about Ampadu last season. I obviously haven't seen that much of him this season.
Imagine him in a Bielsa side. That's been put in the comments.
Yeah, Ampadu was the perfect Bielsa footballer, I think, as well.
I think if we had, would you swap Tanaka for Adam Forshaw? I mean, the answer is yes.
Marcelo might disagree.
He may well disagree, yeah. But he'd be wrong.
More Bielsa chat. Andrew saying it turns out that Bielsa was right. The little scum bastard was a striker all along.
Still not a striker, but a very, very good winger.
He's far more composed now than he was, though. Like that chance when he went through and he scored. I think in a couple of years ago, he would probably lamped that somewhere into the stand off the outside of his boot. It'd have spun away. But he just just put it in, didn't he?
When he signed for Man United, he had played less than a full season of Championship football and went into that absolute, basket case of a football club for a couple of years, and then got sent to Leeds. Had to play up front for a season. Then Jesse Marsh just hated him because he was a winger and liked to be wide. So it's not really surprising that we're getting the guy now that we thought we were probably getting in January 2019.
Right.
I think he's brilliant.
Let's talk about what Farke did, because he broke from tradition in many ways. Was it that game was so dominant and comfortable that you felt able, I mean, apart from Sam Byron perhaps, being a bit tight-legged around the hamstring, he went a bit earlier, albeit only fractionally with some of the subs. But talk me through
the other thing was
what you make of him and his impact on the game.
What I can say is the first thing would be that he chose to start Solomon over James, which was, I mean, Solomon got a couple the other night, didn't he? But I thought Solomon's performance in general, I thought was better tonight than the Swansea game, even though he got the goals then.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably faded a bit second half, but I thought first half he was good.
Yeah.
His first touch and stuff, he's obviously got a lot of quality about him. He just is not necessarily fit enough yet. But I don't know. He feels like he's grown into it a bit, and maybe a bit like Verba. But Farke is kind of committed to getting him fit and having him as a part of the team, which makes sense, really.
Yeah, you do, just on the fitness issue, you do wonder how much that we don't know about where they have to juggle players with their fitness, who are just, because I know they monitor them using fancy science, I'm going to call it.
They look on Football Manager and it tells you the fitness levels.
Right.
Yeah, they have something like that.
I think so.
Wouldn't actually surprise me if it wasn't just a slightly more complex version of that.
Just get them to run and stuff.
Just
and
a big computer,
turns it into some sort of computer system.
It'll all be AI now, won't it?
Just watches them run.
Just put in ChatGPT, which wingers should I start this weekend, and it'll tell you.
Oh,
when I played rugby when I was younger, Stat Sports, who are the big stats people, they were trialing stuff around like quite low level rugby clubs and stuff. It's like nearly 15 years ago, and they just asked would we do it, and they had a little laptop, and it was essentially like heart rate plus this plus that, and then they go, this is how much what your condition is at this point in the game. So it might not be a million miles off the Football Manager thing. Speaking of subs, LUFC data, 8 of Leeds' 31 championship goals have been scored by substitutes this year.
Nice.
That seems higher than I would have thought.
Feels like they've had far more impact on games this season than, I don't know if it was a lack of options last season, but certainly compared to last season anyway.
So I feel like mainly we just bring on subs to extend leads.
Yeah, I mean, but like do you remember
which is fine, by the way. I'm not criticising that.
But like last year, let's say, because
we're just in the lead a lot.
But like Somerville was so instrumental to everything last year. Somerville and Georgie. So you take Somerville out of it, and then it's Jayden Anthony, who's a perfectly fine footballer. At this level, he seems to be doing all right. He's played at Premier League, perfectly serviceable. But you always felt like you lost a certain amount of danger. Whereas it feels like we're able to do a lot of like for like stuff this season. We've got a better spread in the squad, I suppose, of attacking options anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Jayden Anthony would be our 5th choice winger as it stands.
Yeah, 100%.
So would Jack Harrison.
He would, wouldn't he?
So just to run through the subject, it was Verba on 59. That was for Byram, which I think was probably just a 3 games in a week fitness thing.
Yeah.
And then the other subs did come actually around the 69, 70 minutes, which is when Dan James came on and Matteo Joseph. And they were straight swaps. I wondered if there might have been a little bit of a tinker, whether he might take Aronson off and drop Piru back into the number 10 and put Joseph ahead of him. But no, he just thought he'd give him a rest, I suppose. What do you think of those?
Fine. I approved. I was like, yeah.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, give him a go.
Did he consult you or?
Didn't have signal, but I nodded.
Just give him the... Yeah.
Make them.
Yeah, the little Sammy Lee earpiece in.
No, I thought it was, it just all made sense, the subs. And it was like Piro's a strange one, isn't he? Because it can be frustrating sometimes because he's not necessarily doing like number 9 stuff, is he, a lot of the time? But, if we're winning, he's scoring.
It works, doesn't it?
It's fine.
He seemed to do a little bit more of it today, but yeah, I agree. He's not the traditional 9, but results bias says, who cares?
Absolutely.
Basically.
So yeah, we scored the 3rd on 81 minutes, and then he promptly brings on Gilavogi and Largy for just a chance to get some minutes in his legs. And he picked up a yellow card, which with a good foul, I thought, that one.
He did, but somehow Tanaka ended up on the floor after that, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was a bang to the head, and actually there was a part of me I thought, oh God, not my boy.
How was his head? I couldn't tell what had happened.
Yeah.
But I was concerned.
Well, I
for a
started to
moment.
catastrophise and wonder if this is a head injury.
It's a skull fracture.
Yeah.
He's going to have to retire.
Well, I wasn't thinking that bad. I was just thinking maybe concussion protocols. He has to miss Blackburn, sit out another, that kind of nonsense.
Right.
But I think he was fine.
Yeah.
Just carried on, didn't he?
He looks fine. Blackburn won tonight, didn't he?
Yeah,
See that?
they beat Borough, yeah.
Won at Middlesbrough, which is, I think, good because Middlesbrough were close-ish to us, weren't they? So
Take points off each other. I'm all for it.
gives a bit of a gap, even if we are playing Blackburn.
Have we had any of Farke's comments come through yet? Just looking, but again, we're at the mercy of probably a broken Twitter app here.
You
But
can just see actually a comment on screen there from your Boa's arse. Bogle's pass for LSB was, and he's given the little
chef's kiss kind of.
Mamma Mia,
Yeah.
that little emoji, and it was great. And the way James took it was great as well because he just ran across in front of, used his pace, got in front of the defender. So the defender was like, fuck, I can bring him down, but do I want a red card at this point when it's already 2-0?
Well, one of the comments from Adam Pope, or the tweets from Adam Pope says James was on the bench because it was felt that Luton would not allow him much space to work in, combined with the data showing he needed more recovery time after a recent injury.
Red zone.
Yep.
The damn red zone. Yeah, apparently it was, Arden says it was a Luton player straight into Tanaka's beautiful cheekbone. I added the word beautiful there.
It's probably that bloody rugby lad.
Is it too
Whose name
soon?
I still can't remember.
He's
Joe Taylor.
clearing out a rock.
Is it too soon to book the life-size tattoo of Tanaka?
Life size.
Not full, but I'm not going to get his full, I'm not going to cover my entire body with
Right.
him.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. I was thinking just his head on my back or...
Bit humiliating as well having a thinner man tattooed in your own body. He just lives in the middle of your own silhouette.
What's wrong with Tanaka? Lee and Cheese is asking, have you had a manicure, Michael, to avoid replicating the bald fraud stress scratching?
Oh, yeah. Bad that, wasn't it?
Mm.
I've got some paper cuts, but, I'm managing. I'm dealing with the pain
Yeah, fighting through it.
with meth.
What, sorry?
I'm not really taking anything for my paper cuts.
I think my pal Neil's cat is on meth.
Oh, really?
Don't know if it's the same kind. I don't know if it's like methadone. That's some sort of anything with the name meth sounds quite strong, doesn't it? Simon Wimble is pointing out that Tanaka was a Dior model in Japan. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, he's quite a good looking bloke. I've seen the pictures.
Very fashionable.
Yeah. I've lost my train of thought now. I'm thinking about a full life-size Tanaka tattoo. Any of Farke's comments coming through? What's been said? Sorry, I missed all that. I was thinking about Tanaka.
Do we think Angus Kinnear is crying somewhere?
I think that's the result that he wanted, actually.
A watered down pint of Amstel in the East Stand.
Not watered down, because that'd be illegal. Tastes like it's
Tell my taste buds otherwise.
suboptimal. Yeah, Kinnear. Yeah, I think he'll wanted that tonight. I think so.
As well,
You can I think it must be like when you're a professional footballer when you're playing, which obviously you must have experience of this mindset anyway, even if you haven't played, Michael.
Well, I've listened to a lot of Jake Humphreys, so
If you're facing the team that's your boyhood team, you're still just gonna try.
yeah.
Want us to win.
And also, there's no point Luton winning games. They're not going up, are they? So we might as well have the points, and Angus might as well be happy.
Mm-hmm. And look forward to that sweet Premier League pay rise.
Indeed. It feels. I don't know. It feels possible, though, doesn't it? After games like this, you have to say. Start of the season, Luton at home, you would have been one you'd have thought, oh, they're coming down. Not lost too many players. Might be quite a tough game, this, but actually, complete piece of piss, wasn't it, in the end?
Mm. Yeah, more of that, please.
But in a slightly more fun way than it has been recently. So yeah, all good.
Right. Do you agree with the Becks of Posh and Beck's Pontefract fame, Neil Redfern, saying apparently that Dan James is the best attacking player in the Championship, as reported by Nick, who may be lying. I don't know.
It could be.
Could well be. Possibly the most dangerous. Maybe not the best, with the highest ceiling or whatever, but maybe the most dangerous player. Also, the way he presses, it is just berserker, but it works.
And in a game like that, to be able to bring him on as a fullback, you must just look at it and think, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Honestly, this guy now, of all times, I'm tired. Don't need this right now. Played it at the weekend. It's now, it's late on Wednesday. Let me just go to bed. I got the feeling with that Luton performance, actually, they were mainly...
They throw it. They threw it.
They wanted it to be over,
Yeah.
was the impression I got from it. And I was happy for that attitude to persist, really. Just let us win. That's all I'm after.
It seems fair.
I will say, though, you get away with a lot more, don't you, in this league? I was thinking that when we let them in for a couple of chances. Like, you get away with so much. There was another one actually late in the first half, in fact, when I can't remember exactly how it broke down, but it ended with Morris on the edge of the box and he had a pass to the right where he could have slid someone in, but he took far too long and then it ended up with a cross to the back post and they headed it wide. But the whole thing was just not very good, essentially, from an attacking sense. And I was like, yeah, it's a very different animal as the Championship.
Couple of admin things just to mention before we end the show. Number one is drinks, Christmas drinks. If you're in Leeds for the Derby game, we're going down to the Griffin Ball Lane near the station. After that, after we've done the match ball,
yes.
Let's not try doing it from there.
No,
could be bad. So come down and see us if you fancy a Christmas drink. And I think Michael's definitely buying.
I'll buy someone a drink.
Right, one lucky punter. Yeah. So that's Saturday the 7th, early kick-off for Derby, down at the Griffin afterwards, sort of tea time-ish.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Second one is, if you couldn't get on via the link in the daily email today, by the way, it's because we've just moved over to new web hosting, so we're just making sure everything's still working, and evidently that's not. We'll turn it off and on again probably.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah, that's invariably the first thing we'll try. So apologies for that if you did find it. Yeah, it's just new web hosting because the web server used to fall over when people tried to get on the match ball. Hopefully it doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not Rob's fault.
I mean, he's not here to defend himself. So anyway, that's all said and done now. Did we settle on man of the match? Because there's some variety on the stats websites. They're saying different people. Rodon, Strauch, Tanaka, obviously.
It's kind of boring to say Tanaka every time, isn't it?
Nah.
That's why I was trying to give big up Rothwell a bit, just because I thought he was really good.
And Byram's goal. Dan James's goal. Byram's goal.
Byram's a better footballer than I think we think he is, than we realise.
Oh,
he's just really good, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's like a 7 out of 10 at everything. He's Byram.
If Junior Verba would score that goal, people would be losing their mind. So I feel like giving him some more credit for it.
Yeah, I mean, but it would just help us sell mugs. So.
Announced Sam Byram mug.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Let's get
So,
done.
your man of the match, who's yours, Chris?
I'm giving it to Byram.
Oh,
Michael.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's say Rothwell. Why not?
Oh.
Yeah. Mix it up a bit.
I'm going to go Strauch.
Okay.
And to back my point up, I'm going to add one comment to the stream that just says Strauch, which makes me look more knowledgeable.
Okay, good. Good.
Right, optimism. We need to wrap that up. Where are you on your scale?
We're going up, aren't we?
Oh.
Look, well, we are. Stats would suggest it. League table suggests it. Betting suggests it. It's all fine.
Yeah. We're starting to chug along nicely.
Yeah. We're past the 1/3 mark of the season now. We've got 35 points. So if we get, I'm gonna see what points total we're on for.
It's not to say we won't lose some more games, because we definitely will. But you look at games like that, and we're so dominant, aren't we? It's like I don't really go to Ellen Road fearful of much anymore, I have to say.
I had to do some brackets with my maths then, but we're due for somewhere between 94 and 95 points.
Would accept
at this point. Yeah, based on what we've done so far.
You comfortably win the league with that this year, I feel.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think we should get 100 points.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. If we still can. I assume we can.
Just buy like an extra 4 brilliant players in January.
Just absolutely cheat.
Yeah.
Just join us. Just cheat absolutely.
Go full belt and braces.
Blow everyone out of the water. Optimism, we're going up here. So where is that in terms of time? We were measuring it in terms of time.
Problem is, under Bielsa, I never felt like we were going up. I was always just stressed and panicking for the most part.
Right.
So this is new. This is new territory. It's a new feeling of comfort.
But do you embrace it?
Yes, at least until we concede a goal.
Right.
And then the world's all collapsing.
Don't really concede many, do we?
We don't, in fairness. So yeah, good. Let's stick with that.
You feeling brazenly optimistic, Chris?
Yeah. We've scored the most, or we haven't conceded the least? Okay. Anyway,
we have what's known as the best goal difference.
We are the best team in the league.
Right.
And there are some decent sides around us, but they're not as good as Leeds. And I think so long as the current players like Ramazani and that can stay fit, and we get Ampadu back in January, I think we will win the league.
By how many points?
10.
Wow.
We've done it before. We'll do it again.
What a call.
According to the odds, we have an 88% chance of promotion.
Is that right?
If you want to bet on us going up.
I don't feel like that.
If you were laying it, it wouldn't be that. But yeah, if you were to bet on us to go up, you would be looking at odds of around 1.13.
Andrew's just mentioning in the comments saying Burnley have conceded 6 in 17 somehow, but then they're not trying to score either.
No, I think draws will hopefully, as Sunderland are seeing, draws will kill them off hopefully as they struggle to score goals.
Yeah. Good. More of the same, please. Well, we'll wrap up the match ball there. Members, thank you for joining us on the live stream. The audio version, if you look out for that in your members feed, we'll do some extra time now. A little bit of bonus chat where we'll, I think, debrief our performance on the pod.
Yeah. Leant Cheese, by the way, has just said Sheffield United would be top without the deduction. Can you ban him, please?
Yeah, ban him from channel.
Ban him from the chat.
Yeah.
I don't want that sort of negativity on here.
No.
Not when I'm such a positive person.
But if it wasn't for as I said the other day, when Bryn was in talking to us, take out Mellier's error at Sunderland and Brendan Arrington's scores on the opening day, we're top.
Yeah, it's true.
Morally and actually.
That financial doping may have been worth 2 points anyway.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, good. So we're going to stick about and do extra time in a second. If you want to become a member, head to thesquareball.net/plus. What else have we got this week? So Propaganda came out today. If you haven't listened to that yet, that's a hoot.
Yes.
Yep.
Why did you use the word hoot?
Just mixing my language up a bit, trying to keep it interesting, theatrical. I don't know.
I thought it might be a bird reference, then I thought, I don't know.
The Swan's hoot?
Patter's hoot.
Honk.
So we've got a West Stand on Friday. We're going to speak to Baron Cross from Leeds Live. He's going to come in tomorrow. We'll record that, and we'll get possibly some more sensible analysis and things like that from him. He's good at that. He sort of understands football, I think.
Well, he's going to probably have time to think about it, isn't he?
Yeah. Right, we will wrap it up there.
He's better at it.
We'll wrap it up there. Cheers for joining us on this. Just thanks for tolerating it. We'll see you soon.
The Match Ball.